Hiya guys, Crazy Teacher Nick here again. Tomorrow is your paper 2 exam, so I'm sure a lot of you doing your cramming, finishing out some of those last minute practice papers. So I thought I'd just drop in with some of the common mistakes that students make. So this video, I took the information from example candidate responses and examiner reports. So you can use this as a bit of a checklist to avoid some of the pitfalls in your own work. So what are some of those common mistakes? Okay, so I always tell my students, this is a writing exam, so therefore you've got to keep in mind your audience. Okay, because that is a common mistake. Understanding the purpose and obviously the format, the text type, making sure that you understand the correct text type. So reading the question, very, very important. Not planning, okay, and not structuring their text, not planning the structure for their text, how they're going to get that done. Language and vocabulary issues, we're going to talk about that. Including also accuracy, so your spelling, your grammar, your punctuation, these are really, really important. Not fulfilling the task, okay, required, so not meeting the requirements of the task. Missing commentary, so not addressing things in your 1B of paper 2. Time management, we all know time management is an issue, okay. Insufficient development or detail, and then of course not checking your work. So let's start with the first one, okay, not addressing audience purpose and text type. Okay, this is a writing exam, so not using the correct tone, the incorrect register, or the incorrect layout for the audience. For example, being too formal, okay, for a teenage audience. Again, remember, there's always got to be a certain amount of balance in your work, okay? Failing to adopt the required text types, so not knowing your different text types. Ignoring the purpose of the task, okay? If the task asks you to be advisory, okay, don't be writing a narrative or a descriptive. Okay, read your question. So how to avoid this? Okay, study your question. Okay, before writing, identify who am I writing for? Okay, what does the audience need? What text type are they expecting? What is the purpose of my text? And keep checking your question while you are busy writing. Okay. This comes down to also planning. Now, I know tomorrow's the exams, okay? And if you haven't started planning, practicing your planning up until this point, this is probably going to be a bit of a moot point, okay? I'm constantly telling my students you need to practice your planning from very, very early on, okay? But even a little bit of a plan is better than no plan whatsoever. So don't just jump into your text, okay, without a clear plan. This results in you basically rambling or being unfocused, okay? Paragraph structures, okay? Making sure that you understand how you're going to paragraph your different ideas, okay? You see students where paragraphs, everything runs together, or you don't see these logical shifts, okay, focusing on form or audience, or structurally just the text is just not properly developed, okay. Again, if you haven't started practice planning before, it might be a bit late if you're writing tomorrow, but for everybody else that's going to be writing in next year in May or next year in October, okay, there's time to practice your planning, okay? And you want to get that down to about 5 minutes, okay? Language and vocabulary, basic vocabulary, repetition of basic vocabulary, a lack of variation in sentence structures and word choice. Okay, this is a writing exam. Show off your vocabulary, show your sentence and paragraph management. Okay, you see students trying to crowbar over ambitious vocabulary, which is not correct. Okay, so you're not using it correctly. Sentence structures, again, using sentence fragments. Nothing wrong with sentence fragments in the right place, okay? Or run-on sentences, okay? Or your sentence structures are either too simple or too complex or just not clear. Know how to structure your sentences, okay? So use a range of vocabulary where you can control it. Okay, it's in the mark scheme, they're looking for it. Vary your sentence structures, so shorter sentences for impact, longer sentences for explanation. Check your sentence, check your writing for any sentence fragments and for any awkwardness in how your sentences are placed in your text. Okay, accuracy. So yes, we are checking for spelling issues. Okay, so especially with some ambitious vocabulary. Now, if you do make mistakes in that and some of your spelling, we'll be okay with some of it. But if it is basic mistakes that are constantly happening and distracts from the meaning of the text, it's going to be an issue. Verb tense agreement. Okay, so a lot of people doing the international GCSEs, you are second language speakers. Okay, make sure in that you understand in your text your movements between your present and past tenses, or your just general verb tense agreement. Okay, the missing punctuation, so missing things like capital letters and full stops. If we can't see it, it's missing. So make sure your punctuation is clear. Okay, and misusing apostrophes, some of the most basic things. So again, leave time to check your work, okay? Check your spelling, okay? Check your verb tenses, check your punctuation. Make sure that the start of all your sentences have capitals, that you're using full stops, that you're using commas correctly, plus all of your other punctuation, your semicolons, your colons, we are looking for these in your writing, okay? Oh my golly gosh, not reading the question, RTQ, okay? So if you don't read the question, okay, you're not going to know what the examiners are expecting from you, okay? So if you miss part of a question, or if you misunderstand something in the question when you are writing, or whether it be your 1A, your 1B, or your question 3, okay? If you don't understand the question, what the question is asking you to do, it's going to impact you. Imagine, okay, if somebody gives you an instruction on how to drive a car, and they say to you, okay, you have to climb in the boot to drive the car. That car's going nowhere, okay? So the instructions, the question are instructions that are telling you, if you want to be effective, if you want marks from this exam, read the question carefully. Okay, and constantly be going back and checking. Am I still meeting the requirements of the question? Even section B, those questions 2, 3, or 4. Keep checking the question. Am I still on target? Am I still on target? Am I still meeting the requirements of the task? Okay, so missing parts of your commentary in 1B can be a bigger issue than you expect. Okay, remember that you still have to address form, structure, and language. If you only focus on one of those parts and you don't cover form, structure, and language, okay, in your 1B, it's going to affect your grade. Okay, so please, please, please make sure that you have a good structure to how you're going to show you've met the requirements of the task with a focus on form, structure, and language. And for your commentary, make sure you're writing in a formal tone, okay, maybe 2 or 3 language or structural choices, okay, and explain why you made them, because you wrote them, so you know what effect you were trying to have. What was the purpose? How are you trying to impact the audience? Okay, use that evidence. I use an ellipsis to indicate hesitation, okay, and reflection. This helps engage the teenage reader by, okay, you're still using that point, evidence, explain technique. Okay, insufficient development. Okay, so it's where students, again, it's not planning, okay, this is teacher Adna has a wonderful video on this on her channel. It's called Be Specific. Okay, please, 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 you need to ensure that you are not being vague in your writing. Okay, whether it be your commentary, whether it be your longer writing pieces or your shorter writing pieces, okay, be specific about names, scenarios, details, okay, and just basically elevate your writing. So you are not GCSE, you are AS level, okay. You need to imagine you are writing a short story, so put in the extra effort. Time management, we all know that this is a difficult exam. We all know that 120 minutes is not enough. Okay, it's a tight turnaround. If you're not planning, you're going to lose on time. If you spend too much time on section A, you're going to struggle with section B. Okay, so practice your time management, keep your eyes on the clock, make sure that, and be very, very disciplined. Okay, here's a quick checklist of things you can think about, okay, in those last 5 minutes. Okay, have I identified the audience purpose and format and stuck to them? Did I plan or structure my page layout appropriate to the text that I've been asked to write? Are my paragraphs logical and well organized? Have I used some variety in vocabulary and sentence structure? Is my language accurate? So have I checked my spelling, my punctuation, and my grammar? Did I address every part of the task, including commentary if required? Did I stick to the word limit if required? Okay. Or did I reach the word limit? Okay. There's section B. Okay, if you don't reach that minimum 600 words, you're going to be penalized. Okay, did I leave time for proofreading, time management? Okay, have I written enough detail and development? Have I been creative? Okay, did I choose my language and structural devices? Okay, and if I have to explain, did I explain why and how well they work? Okay, this has been a bit of a quick run through of a video. I hope some of this is helpful. I know the exams are tomorrow, so I have tried to run this through. And if you have stuck with me all the way to this point, okay, you guys are absolutely awesome. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow, okay, and rock on.